Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
If you were forced to give up an item, let's just say OV scores his, what's the record for goals? 871. Say, I think it is, Wayne's. Say he scores 872 and against the opposition, and let's say Shesterkin, let's say it's in New York, and he fires the puck into the crowd, the goalie for the Rangers, and you catch it. And then the Capitals come over to you and tap on the glass. Can we get that puck? It's Ovi's. It's the record-breaking goal. A, you don't want to give it to him, but B, you know you should. What would be an appropriate...
But C, that's $1 million puck in your hand.
They say the football's $500,000.
Okay.
That's what they're saying.
So the puck would be... This didn't break a record. The puck would be right there.
No, what would you want?
$500,000.
You scumbag!
That'd be the coolest thing to have the record-breaking puck. But you know what?
Oh, it's $894. Sorry. So if it's $895, you catch the puck for $895. Because what Tom said was, we'll get him a helmet, maybe a couple jerseys or something. I'm not quite like you.
Yeah.
Not a complete pimp like you. I would say, I want the helmet. I want the jerseys. I want season tickets. I want lunch with you at the Golden Corral tomorrow, Tom. And let me think about it a little longer, and then I'll get back to you.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Now,
here's a little secret with what I do at the Rod Pedersen Show, and I've made a career of it. I don't care whether you like me or you don't like me, but when you watch my show, I just want you to feel something.
How about that?
Whether you're happy or you're sad or you're angry or you're proud, I just want you to feel something. Because a lot of times you'll read a column or watch a show and say, that's never been the hallmark of what I do. I want to make you think. I want to make you feel something. And it's worked. And if you don't agree with me, I'll be fine.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It sure is. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome inside the RP Show. We're live from Ballers Rec Room right in the heart of the Dudney Strip. Yes, we're back home in the YQR, our headquarters, the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. And, man, we got a lot to get through today with some very special guests. We've got from Sky Sports NFL coverage, Jeff Reinebold, live from Super Bowl 57, coming up in Hour 1. In Hour 2, from SiriusXM NFL Radio, Zig Fracassi. And we got a lot of hockey talk, football talk. I want to mix in some NLL talk because I love that league so much. We've got Darren Moose Dupont with us. And I guess it wasn't that big of a deal when I think about it, but the last time I saw you, Moose, was like literally 3 months ago, like the whites of your eyes.
I was just thinking.
You talk to a guy every day, you don't really think about it, you know? I'm
like, it's good to see the whites of your eyes.
Yes.
You look good. You look healthy.
White.
You look tanned. And
feel great.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. One thing you're going to realize, folks, when we get into the Quick Six show topics here, that I said to Moose not long ago before we went on the air, the good thing about me not staying too long in any spot, whether it's here or Calgary at the beloved Grey Eagle where we love our second home, or Florida, I have a tendency of wearing people out, like wearing out my welcome. Believe it or not. So this is just perfect. And so tonight, the Florida Panthers are home to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and on the weekend, all my friends in Florida were like, are you going to the game? We'll see you at the game. It's going to be awesome. Because they hate that freaking Tampa Bay Lightning, man. They hate them in South Florida. They really do. That barn's going to be packed tonight. And I'm like, sorry, boys and girls. Got to run.
Yeah.
But I'll be back soon. That's a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. For sure. You leave them wanting a little more, right?
You hope.
You hope. You hope.
You certainly hope. So can you hit the Quick Six show horn, please, Director Jordan? Let's get down to business. And I should mention that had a little pit stop in Atlanta, by the way. Shout out Ryan Radio, WQEE, our official radio rights holder and carrier. I love me the Peach City, too. Man, that's a cool spot. And they love what we talk about here every day. 0.1 We're going to start with the NFL Pro Bowl skills competition. Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins threw 3 touchdown passes to rally the NFC to a 35-33 victory over the AFC in the Pro Bowl games in Las Vegas. Cousins completed 15 of 19 passes in the NFL's reformatted All-Star contest, which gave the NFC the victory based on the earlier games, plus the skills competitions earlier in the week. The AFC had a 21-15 lead going into the last game. The Pro Bowl changed its format this season, eliminating the traditional game and replacing it with 3 flag games played on a 50-yard field and a series of skills competitions. So that's the NFL portion, and all I'll tell you, because it is the Rod Pedersen Show, I'll get to your and Darren's comments in a moment, but I just casually saw it on the television when I was in Atlanta. I'm like, this looks like a practice. Practice is cool, but I'm not going to sit in front of it or buy a ticket to go to it in the NFL. I'm just not. Point 2, Detroit Red Wings star Dylan Larkin scored a hat trick to lead the Atlantic Division to a 7-5 win over the Central in the final of the NHL All-Star Game Saturday in Sunrise, Florida. We were there. Panthers winger, hometowner, playing for the Florida Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk was named tournament MVP, had 4 goals and 3 assists in 2 games on Saturday. So there's that. So it was All-Star Weekend, NFL and NHL. That brings us into point 3, which is our poll question today. For the wonderful Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, they have dealerships all across the Canadian prairies and the state of California. Who did it better? Who wore it better? All-Star Weekend, NFL, NHL, both or neither? And I've had this up for about an hour on Twitter. Let me check. And that's where I will hand this over to the lovely and talented co-host, Darren Moose DuPont. What are you voting on the poll for Capital Auto Mall? Be honest, which I know you will. Say it.
Neither.
Say it.
Neither. Doesn't that shock you? Doesn't that shock you? Like,
how about that?
We can get into the All-Star game. I've been on this show, man, and I don't think there's a bigger fan of All-Star games than me in terms of, understanding the value they bring. Everybody wants to complain about how bad they are, but I'm like, they're not for you. They're for the kids. The kids love it. Well, you know what? I'm going to change my vote to NFL because I think it was a little better, the NFL one.
Okay.
But for the first time, I'm disappointed with the NHL All-Star game in the weekend. And we can get into that, but it wasn't great.
Well, let's get the comments going, everybody. Start spreading the news. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, and live streaming on YouTube for those that are into that. By the way, from Ryan Radio, he says, good to see King Rod and Top Gun together. Yes, it is. I don't think it looks a whole lot different to anybody else.
No.
But we are literally like 6 feet apart for the first time. And it is good. He says King Rod. He's referring to my robe from Bet Regal, our exclusive betting partner. And I was packing to come home, and I almost forgot it. And I thought, can you imagine the people that go through your luggage? Because they do go through your luggage. They have to, TSA. Look, he has a robe in here. Can you imagine? Why would you need a robe? Don't worry about it.
Wouldn't be the weirdest thing people see, but when everything is like, I'm imagining going through your suitcase, without actually ever being through your suitcase. Okay, Under Armour polo, Under Armour polo, Under Armour quarter zip, polo, quarter zip, quarter zip.
It's all the same.
And then, like, this fluffy purple robe that's just like light and air. I'm like, okay, he's got a night plan for something, and we don't know what it is.
Yeah. Can you imagine the stuff they find? I checked the vote on Twitter. Over 70% are saying neither one. And it would be a good time to go back and read my 10 Things column, the very popular column at rodpeterson.com, read by, as Darren knows, hundreds of thousands of people weekly, except him. I tease. He didn't have time to read it this weekend, but I said, folks, we got to get with a program. And we will look ahead probably next hour to tonight's games and moving forward, second half of the NHL season, Super Bowl, obviously. But in hour one, we're just going to spend a minute on this All-Star Weekend here. And we got some very wonderful comments coming in. Jack in Alberta says, RP and Moose, the dynamic duo. Best 1-2 in the game today. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. I don't know about that, but we sure have a lot of fun. Somebody wrote in here about the shooting the pucks. I'll stay away from the comments. I think we can handle it. We don't need to bring in the audience comments yet. We go to the game Friday night. Serena and I went, and hockey person, both of us, off to a pretty good start. They didn't do a one-by-one player introduction. They saved that for Saturday. I kind of would have liked to have seen them do that Friday, but whatever. The fastest skater, I'm like, whoa, we're into it. Who didn't participate in fastest skate? It was just like when we were kids at the carnival. You must have had one in Wynyard. We had one in Milestone.
Yeah.
Same idea. I'm like, the first most exciting event is the fastest skater to me. I said, this is like putting bull riding at the start of a rodeo.
Yeah.
That's what I came for, you know? And that was all fun. Then Cale McClure of the Colorado Avalanche blows a tire on turn 3, and the whole ring's like, ooh. And I think that might have cast a bit of a pall over the rest of the evening. Here's the problem. When they started running pre-taped canned events, like putting guys in dunk tanks on the beach and shooting pucks at the surfboard that had been taped like the day before, or the golf event where they're wristing white pucks for closest to the pin at a golf course, it was a buzzkill in the arena. So we can sit and debate all this. And then the other thing was the Tendy tandem. They're trying to explain this over the mic. I'm like, what are they doing? And I get that they had the female hockey players that were there. Studs. Well, I guess not studs. What would you call them? I used to say Hillary Knight, obviously. Miss Nurse. But the goalies aren't trying. Igor Shesterkin literally let Nurse score. And I'm like, this is kind of where I checked out. And I got looking around for my friends and kind of became a social event, because what's going down on the ice right now is not what I paid for. You know?
Was it Hillary Knight that was on the fastest skater? Was it last year or the year before? Or who was it that was in the fastest skater? One of the females. But she actually beat a bunch of the guys. Like, went out there and like...
Kendall Coyne Schofield.
Thank you. And I apologize for not getting that right. But she rocked it and did really, really well. And everybody, like, celebrated it, and it was great, and it showed that they belong. And they do belong. But when you got goalies just letting it in, and even for you know, the skills, when they're doing the breakaway challenge and the goalies don't try, because I get they don't want to be embarrassed. But, I mean, if the girls go down and get stopped by Shesterkin, and then they score, you're going to be like, this is legit, and you're going to feel really good about it. Instead, it was just kind of cringy, and the thing I don't like about it is when nobody's trying. I love the skills when you can try, and even if you're being creative to try new things and it doesn't work. I don't like just flicking it, goalies not trying. Then it's a joke, and I don't like when it becomes a joke.
Right, and I understand that was 3 days ago. Everybody's moved on. Everybody's looking forward, and we will get to that, but it's only Monday, and this is where we recap the weekend, right? But here's, if you're Igor Shesterkin, think about it this way. You've got a female hockey player coming down on you. You're a donkey either way. You stop her, you're a jerk.
Yeah.
You let her score, you're a jerk. That's putting everybody in bad positions. And we got a hockey scout guy in Saskatoon that watches the show every day, Ryan Marushak, and he said, if they had honestly, I thought at first, to myself, he verbalized it first. Let's have an all-women's division, and I think we'd all be cool with that. I'd be down with that. I got a niece who's a star playing NCAA women's hockey right now at Mercyhurst School in Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm all for women's hockey, but what should I say, have them compete against the men isn't right. And it's not fair for either, in my opinion. Jeff Gordon from the audience, I enjoyed the alternate skills items, but I was annoyed with the randomness between the releases. There was a lot of standing around. There was a lot of, what's going on? There's a lot of confusion. And so, before we move on, in my weekend column, I said, this is here to stay. I can't see this changing. The NFL, you can sit and bang on the NHL all you want. For a lot of people, that's in vogue, which, by the way, Canadians would never realize that. In the States, the NHL gets bashed kind of the way the CFL does in Canada.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You would never think that, being a Canadian. And honestly, I don't even fight it anymore. I love the NHL. I'll always love the NHL. And I'll watch every NHL All-Star weekend just because I love hockey. I can't see the NHL people sitting around a boardroom table today going, oh, we really screwed up. Oh, we blew it. These fans are right. Like, when they come back to Toronto next year, they're not going to have surfboards and dunk tanks, obviously.
Right.
But it's still going to be out there.
It will. It'll still be different. They'll try new things, Toronto-esque things, whatever that means. The thing about the skills comp is it still can be saved, because the things that are cool is like seeing Elias Pedersen and Bo Horvat, who are now former teammates, on the bench kind of giving each other, you know, a pat on the head or whatever. Or seeing Ovi and Sid team up for a goal in the 3-on-3. That's cool. Or Ovi's kid, you know, whether Dominik Hasek likes it or not, that's kind of cool stuff. The personality stuff is still really great. Mitch Marner doing his thing, and Dylan Larkin saying he was really loving that he got a chance to play with Marner. That was the highlight for him. Though that stuff's all really great. Just got to find a way to create a little more competitiveness.
Well, I should mention, thank you. Watch your feet. I'm going to drop some names here, but I ran into some NHL All-Stars in the airport on Sunday, one of which was Chandler Stevenson, whom played for the Regina Pats, God's team. So we caught up, and he had a blast. His wife was there. His little baby was there. His family was there. They had fun. And isn't that what this is all about? It's not whether you win or lose. Did we all have fun? Actually, I think the saying when we were kids was, or when I was a kid was, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you played the game.
That's right.
That doesn't apply here.
No.
It's all about the marketing. It's getting everybody together, the fans and the sponsors. And from that realm, it was a success, and that's why I'm voting NHL wins. Ding, 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 ding. Took me a long way to get there, 13 minutes. But I'm voting for the NHL 1 All-Star Weekend. And by the way, I put that on Twitter. I said, great job, NHL. Great job, Panthers. And all the Panthers staff were liking it and retweeting it. Who wants to get crapped on? Right?
That's right.
So there was enough negativity out there. I was pro NHL this weekend, and I mean it, and you know me well enough that if I didn't mean it, I wouldn't say it, right?
That's right.
Larry Dye is watching in Medicine Hat, and he said perhaps the NHL should incorporate the NFL All-Star Games by having the best defensemen stand at the blue line and fire pucks at scurrying goalies in a great game of dodge puck.
How about that?
How about no? Yeah, I guess that was my thing. I did ask. I have written down here, what would you change? I like having the females in because hockey is for everybody, even though that continues to be argued about and so forth. I wouldn't change a lot, but can we just get back into a little bit more of hockey? It's been fun to debate with people that it's not about the marketing. It should be about the game because it is the product, but not everybody agrees on that. Randy in Winnipeg says, let the playoff races start. Should be a good race. Don, our Navy friend from the audience, I watched about a minute of the 3-on-3. The players seemed so disinterested. So I went outside for a walk. It was more enjoyable. They're not going to try. And I didn't watch it all either. I didn't. I watched some, not all. And you know what? Yeah, we only got a minute here. When we come back, we're going to turn our attention to a lot of football stuff. Clark, your dad's watching, and I appreciate him for doing so. Rod's his name. He's in Arizona. He says, good morning, Rod, Darren, and team. Took in some Super Bowl events yesterday. Arizona's getting ready. Go Chiefs. Yeah, we'll talk about that coming up. And a lot of I'm not done yet, though, because we didn't really address the Sports Business Journal story that the NHL TV ratings are down 22% from a year ago. People sure want to talk about that. And if you saw Gord Miller from TSN, his Twitter page was just on what apparently coming out of All-Star Week, they're talking about changing the schedule and adding games. Right. Because that's what the NHL needs. Who didn't think there'd be a knee-jerk reaction to one bad ratings book, and we're going to change everything? It is what it is. So we'll be right back. We're halfway through the warm-up and the quick six. Jeff Reinebold and Zig Fracassi on the way. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, your favorite podcast platform, and the radio, WQEE The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
best time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You've got to check out our all makes, all models, GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is. It's the RP Show live from Ballers Rec Room. Good to be here in this business. Good to be anywhere. Trust me, live on Game Plus, YouTube, and WQEE. We do have a sporting update. A couple notes here. The Arizona Coyotes assigned forward Dylan Ginther to the WHL's Seattle Thunderbirds on Sunday. Seattle acquired Ginther's rights from the Edmonton Oil Kings on January 10th. And also in Seattle, the Kraken acquired defenseman Jacob Megna from the San Jose Sharks on Sunday in exchange for a 2023 fourth-round pick. Megna's in the midst of his best season with 12 points in 48 games for the Sharks. I'll get to the Dub scores in a moment. Connor Bedard scored, by the way, just so you know. But his Pats lost 6-1 at Medicine Hat. Moose has some breaking news. And my bell is around here somewhere. My breaking news bell. I don't have it out specifically, but Moose, you've got something that you wanted to pass along.
Yeah, Jaromir Jagr is now, do we call him the greatest goal scorer of all time?
No.
He passed Wayne Gretzky for the most professional goals, scored his 1,099th career professional goal just a week before his 51st birthday.
I saw it. Kladno was the team that he played with.
Yeah.
He scored at Kladno, which incidentally, I guess he played with them when he was 17. So what he's saying, I saw it on the wire this morning. I was going to put it into my sports update, and they're saying, here's Jagr scored in this league, the NHL, international goals, various other piecemeal pro leagues in Europe. And they're like, he's now scored more goals than Gretzky, who scored this many goals in the NHL, this many goals in the WHA, this many goals in international. I'm like, I was typing it in, and I'm like, what? Who cares? It's dumb.
It's not the NHL.
No.
It was a nice goal, though. Big wrap around to the far post. It was good. And he owns the team, right? I think so. He comes out and plays whenever they need an extra skater and still scores. It's pretty cool that Jágr's able to do that, but it's not the same.
And the biggest thing is he's going to be 51 this week. So, Yami, you keep going, okay? You keep playing because it makes us that were born in 72 all feel good. You know, which, by the way, we are, as Moose said, live from Ballers Rec Room. And just to have a fun thing for a second, the owner came, one of the owners, Kelly, let us in, and then he left. And I said to Moose, alone in a bar. Do you people old enough remember the Cheers episode, Cheers? When Norm got locked in the bathroom when they closed up? And he came out and he was the last guy left in the bar, or he was in the bathroom. So he was pouring a beer from the keg, and he goes, alone in a bar. I guess dreams can come true. And I thought, now it's a waste for me to be, unless I want bags of chips on the wall or something, which I'm not going to take, it's a waste. Where, if you could be locked in somewhere, where would you want it to be? Just you, all alone. Everybody else is gone. I thought about it for a second, and I said to Moose, a hockey arena. Doesn't even have to be an NHL arena. And incidentally, that's happened several times, but, and it was great. If you could be locked anywhere, where would it be? Over to you. You had a good one.
West Edmonton Mall was mine.
How about that?
Yeah. I initially said shopping mall, but I'm like, West Edmonton Mall. Go for a swim, go for a skate.
Can do it all.
Rip around, go to the movies. And if you can figure out how to fire up the roller coaster, you can do that too.
West Edmonton Mall for the win.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, well, if you could be locked in anywhere, where would it be? 902-518-3033 or in the YouTube chat. Good morning, Kevin the Medium. He had to have been busy. He's joining us a little late. Here's a good one. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says Playboy Mansion back in the day. Let's just remember, you're alone. You're locked in alone. Because what did I say to you?
You said Hooters, and I was going to say a strip club, but then
you're
you realized
alone.
you'd be alone, and it's a pretty nasty place to be hanging out for 24 hours.
Jordan, Director Jordan says, give me a karting track to myself.
Okay.
That would be fun.
Yep.
Just drive, but you'd win every race. Oh, and by the way, to the NHL ratings, see where we have a lot of topics here right now. I was a little disappointed to read what Gord Miller wrote about how the NHL is discussing countering this 22% dip in ratings, and one is adding more games. Only 2 more to go to an 84-game regular season, but Jack in Alberta says adding more games in the NHL won't bring viewership up. It might do the opposite, and I couldn't agree more. They put the games up against Sunday night football. Hello, probably not a good idea. They doubled the amount of national games that they aired, so it's not really special anymore. It's interesting reading all the articles. They're saying Pittsburgh's not that good. The Islanders aren't that good. These major American markets, Philly, not that good. This is affecting ratings. I don't agree with any of that at all. I think it's knee-jerk reaction, I believe, to one bad ratings book. That's what I think.
It's a little knee-jerk. It'd be crazy if they didn't at least discuss.
They have to discuss it,
and you have to think about it, but you can't make big changes after one book. And I think the thing, too, about advertising in the business is you could add a couple more games and think, okay, we're going to have more total viewership. But an advertiser is going to care about how many people are going to see my ad during the game. It's about the average number of people watching those games. You need to find a way to get that up, which I think happens by removing games, creating more urgency, more reason to get off your butt and watch games. But it's too quick to just jump at one rating and make.
And we're also not the people to talk to because we watch all the games. So I'm responsible for bringing the ratings up if they are at all. By the way, Oleg in Winnipeg says he'd like to be locked in the gymnasium at Wynyard High School. He said that looked very cozy when you were there. Good memory, Oleg.
Very good.
By the way, that sports update where we started this segment is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas, in theaters now, A Man Called Otto, starring Tom Hanks, based on the comical and moving #1 New York Times bestseller. In theaters now, A Man Called Otto, Landmark Cinemas. Moose went to it. I'll expect a report a little later. Moving on, We mentioned the second half of the NHL season starting up. The Boston Bruins are atop the NHL standings and running away with the Atlantic Division heading into the second half of the season. But the playoff races are hot in the Metropolitan, Central, and Pacific divisions with roughly 30 games to go now. There are 11 teams in the mix for 8 playoff spots in the East, 10 in the mix in the West. All 3 New York area teams could make it, with the Rangers, Islanders, and Devils jockeying for the berths. The Dallas Stars and Vegas Golden Knights are among the top contenders out west. We've got all week to get to that. I want to move to other things that are going on. This has been all hockey to this point. Point 5, a few minutes after the Kansas City Chiefs landed in Phoenix on Sunday, the pilot hung a Chiefs Kingdom flag out the window as players, coaches, and staff got off the plane. Then about an hour later, it was the Philadelphia Eagles who arrived in Arizona with an "It's a Philly thing" flag fluttering in the runway as players and coaches made their way to a fleet of buses. The Chiefs play the Eagles in Super Bowl 57 on Sunday in Glendale, Arizona. Our Super Bowl watch party will be held at the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Please join us. First come, first serve. Your favorite RP Show personalities will be there. So are you ready now for a week of Super Bowl hype? I am.
Yeah, big time. I am ready. And I know different circumstances have us not there, but I mean, it's going to be like we are with all our guests coming in from Radio Row and from Phoenix and the area. But yeah, I'm going to be digging into it now all week.
Well, I was telling the folks on the weekend in Florida that were asking if I was going to the Super Bowl. I said I had to choose between the NHL All-Star Weekend and the Super Bowl. I chose this, and I think I made the right decision. But next week I'll be thinking I should have gone to Arizona. But so far, the NHL won. From Pierre Ducharme, he says, totally agree on the NHL. There are already too many games and not enough teams in the playoffs. Jack in Alberta says, at this point in my life, I would love to be locked at home by myself with God to relax and block out the world. How about that? You'll always have us, Jack. So we'll get into the Super Bowl coverage all week long. There's no doubt. There's a couple random things that I wanted to get to with point 6, splitting them. From the National Lacrosse League this weekend, it was week 10. Hey, Ryan O'Radio, our Georgia Swarm, we suck. It was a featured game Friday night. They're in Duluth, Georgia. The Georgia Swarm lost 13-10 to Colorado. We're now 0-5. Hashtag buzzing the Georgia Swarm. Nice uniforms, though. Las Vegas beat Colorado 13-8. Saskatchewan beat Vancouver 14-8. San Diego over Panther City. That's Fort Worth 12-10. Buffalo over Rochester 13-10. Philadelphia beat Albany 13-5. Toronto over the New York Riptide 22-14. And Calgary beat Halifax 12-11. So those were the games. I met a guy from Albany Friday night at the NHL Skills Competition. His name's Brian. He works for OFX, the official currency exchange company of the NHL. He's a big Albany Firewalls fan. So how about that?
Nice.
And to the CFL, the official negotiating window opened on Sunday. And that is what they call the legal tampering period. They have it in the National Football League too. So teams can make offers to players from other teams that are pending, that are going to be a free agent in a week. And I guess the biggest one from what we hear is that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have offered a multi-year contract to our good friend Trevor Harris. They've got a lot of money to spend. We know that. And so far, that's the big one. Nick Arbuckle re-signing in Ottawa. There's some other big names that got locked down. We're hearing today that Matthew Schultz Creek of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, he's staying in Hamilton. Hamilton remains Schultz Creek. But do you see Trevor Harris leaving Montreal for Saskatchewan?
Possibly. The fact that they would offer the contract means that he would be number one on their coveted list of quarterbacks.
I think Bo was one, then it went,
yeah,
and then now to the next
but
one.
Right, but as of today, which tells us that Dane Evans isn't. And maybe that becomes next. So now, Trevor Harris has the ball in his court to say, I'm going to wait and ask for a little more money. And
smart.
You know what? If he's got a contract out and gets to free agency and waits for another offer, and Dane Evans signs somewhere else, all of a sudden Trevor Harris can keep asking for more money because now there's another option that's off the table. So it'll be fun to kind of watch over the next couple of weeks.
There's no doubt. And that's the big news. I was flirting with the idea of sending a message to Cody Fajardo, my good friend in Reno, Nevada, and just saying, hey, let me know what's going down. But I don't want to be that guy. I know you know he'd give us the goods. But I'm like, just let him do his thing.
Yeah.
You know, and let the teams report it when it gets done. I'm just, of all of this free agency, I'm most interested to see where Cody Fajardo goes and where Trevor Harris goes. But this is the peak of the offseason of the Canadian Football League. Those are some of the moves right now. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, did you see what Anthony Lanier is getting? Crazy. Defensive lineman for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I didn't see what he's getting, but again, they got a lot of money to spend. Doesn't surprise me. From Ryan O'Radio regarding our Georgia Swarm.
Yeah.
You know what he said? They'll get him next time. What'd I say? The most positive guy.
As long as they're having
in
fun.
radio. He's the most positive guy in radio. It's a short list and a low bar, but he is the most positive guy that I know. Ryan O'Radio, WQEE Atlanta. It was awesome to stop in there on Sunday. We're going to Super Bowl next, okay, with Coach Reinebold. See you in hour 2.
See you then.
We are live from Ballers Rec Room, our YQR headquarters, right here in the Bermuda Triangle of the NHL, live on Game Plus TV, your favorite podcast platform, and WQEE, the key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now back to the studio with Rod.
You betcha. Welcome back to Ballers Rec Room, everybody. We're coming out of NFL Pro Bowl Skills Weekend, NHL All-Star Weekend, moving into the second half of the NHL season, and Super Bowl 57. And we're going live to Arizona now. I can't wait for this report. Coach Jeff Reinebold is with us from Sky Sports NFL coverage. And, Coach, looks like you're at Media Row. I'm just going to say go. What's your report from Monday of Super Bowl 57 week?
Well, the first thing I can tell you, Rod, is the circus has definitely arrived. It is starting to fill up now. You can feel the buzz on the street. And here at Radio Row, every minute there are more and more people setting up, getting ready to do a throw or send a report back in. We've already done a show for Sky in London, and it's whether you look over there and I see the Canadian guys and Mexicans over. This is truly an international event.
Yeah, and how much time will be spent on the game versus the event? And you know what I mean. You've a veteran of these Grey Cups. There's a distinct split: event, game. What's your mix on those two?
That's the biggest challenge that these teams are going to face, particularly the Eagles with Sirianni, who's never been here. You look historically, Rod, and teams that come in here for the first time usually struggle because the enormity of the whole thing. And it's all of the stuff that goes on. Your family wants to, access to you. Fans want access to you. When are the tickets being distributed? When do the wives come in? All of the other stuff that's extraneous, the things that we football coaches refer to as distractions. And you can't eliminate them in this environment because the league actually, mandates that these guys have to, like tonight, we're going to the opening event and both teams will be there and each team has to stay. Every player, it doesn't matter if you're a superstar or a practice roster guy, you've got to be available to the media for an hour. And, that's just the beginning of it. By the end of the week, by Thursday, Patrick Mahomes will be so tired and Jalen Hurts will be so tired of answering the same question that they just want to go to the hotel and get their game face on and play the game.
It'll be a great job of coaching to shield them from that as much as they can. And I got to ask you this. As soon as we saw this matchup, there were some great storylines. First, black quarterback head-to-head battle, which I found hard to believe, but then when you realize Tom Brady's been in half the Super Bowls the last quarter century, I guess it wouldn't be that hard to believe. And Andy Reid going against his former team that fired him 10 years ago or so. Would that still bother Andy, do you think, or what have you moved on? Is this in his mind going into this game?
Well, I'm sure it is. Anybody that says it's not, I think is either not very competitive or, has amnesia, one of the two, because, it hurts. I mean, he spent 14 years there. He went to a Super Bowl there. He had tremendous amount of success and, was well-liked in the community. I think the Philadelphia media still likes him very much. And now, he's gone to Kansas City and he has a chance to win his second one, which really, when you win your second one, Rod, it's like a different conversation. We talk about teams and we say you got to win 3 to be considered a dynasty within 8 years. Well, for a coach to go back and win two times is a huge, huge accomplishment, and there aren't very many who have done it.
You don't like to reveal your pick until Sunday morning, correct?
I wouldn't say Sunday morning, but it'll be later in the week because there's so much about this game right now, Rod, that we need to know more about. How healthy are the Kansas City receivers going to be? What is Mahomes' availability going to be like? I mean, we're talking about now, this is the game. This is for all the marbles. Push all your chips in the middle of the table because it's a one-hand dealt for all the marbles. And you want to know
Oh, boy. The power just went out on Media Row in Arizona. Clark says that he'll be back in just a second. I don't know what happens with Coach Reinebold if people are trying to call him or text him or whatever. How does he know when we lose him? Oh, we got him. Okay, you said for all the marbles. That's where we left off. One game for all the marbles. That's where you left off. You remember?
Rod, I did that on purpose so you wouldn't get my pick. I did make my pick while I was off the air. So
perfect. But do you, in your mind, have an idea who you think's going to win, or are you legitimately want to wait until the end of the week?
Yeah, I think if you ask me right now, what I would say to you is this: the game will come down to a couple factors. All right, is Kansas City healthy at wide receiver? Because they lost 3, and we know that one of them for sure is not going to be ready to play. Mecole Hardman is not going to play. So now you've got to make sure that you can get the other guys back, because you don't want to play like they did in the fourth quarter of the last game, where they're in 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers, and one of those wide receivers is Marcus Kemp, who was a practice roster guy until the day before the game. That's not the way you want to play in a championship game. But I think that it's going to come down to Philadelphia's ability to win on the change. When I say win on the change, Rod, stay in manageable down and distance situations for Jalen Hurts, so he doesn't face very many 2nd and 10s, 3rd and 8s, and better. And the threat of the run pass option is really critical to their success as an offense. They scored 39 rushing touchdowns, the most in the history of the National Football League this year. So they've got to maintain the ability to run the football. If Kansas City somehow gets up on them 14, and all of a sudden the run becomes something that in the second half that Philadelphia can't do, then I think it's going to be really tough on the Eagles.
From our director of scouting, Craig Smith, whom you know, Smitty watching, says, hey, Jeff, looking good. Hope you're well. Tad in Arizona watching wants to know, hey, Coach, is there much prep done during the week of the game, or is most of that work done in the week before in this 2-week window?
Well, that's a great question by Tad, because, what happens is you'll lay the foundation of your game plan while you're at home. And then these practices here will be mostly to polish it and to get get off your feet, get your legs up, get yourself mentally and physically as sharp as you can get for Sunday, for Sunday and Super Bowl Sunday. I can't stress to you how much distraction is around here. And, they try as best they can to, fortify the players away from the fans and all that, but it's almost impossible. Rod, there have been some cases in Super Bowl history, and, the Raiders lost the starting center, the night before a game. He went down to Tijuana when the game was in San Diego, and he didn't play in the Super Bowl. Eugene Robinson got arrested the night before a Super Bowl, as an Atlanta Falcon.
Man of the year.
Cincinnati had a running back.
Man of the year.
Yeah. Cincinnati had a running back that had got involved with some drugs the night before the game, and he didn't play in the game. So, as a coach, you're doing everything you can, to eliminate the distractions and keep them as focused as you can keep them. But you got to remember, these are young guys, and this is a big, big, big stage.
Well, a stage befitting of you. What's your week going to look like? What's your schedule? You must have it planned out to a degree.
Well, every day we're sending, feedback to our to our channel, Sky Sports, and then we'll have the game. We'll bring the game back to England and the UK, and I guess internationally now. Sky's international on Super Bowl Sunday, and then a little post-game hit on Monday, and then they're going back to London. I'm going back to the island.
Sounds like a wonderful life. Coach, keep in touch. I hope we can do it again later in the week, and enjoy it. I know you will.
Well, Roddy, I tell you what, if we do it on Friday, I'll give you my pick, and I won't even try and circumvent the the electricity to get it to hold back.
You got that, Clark? Our viewers were saying the NFL was trying to silence you, Coach, by killing the power right when you were making your picks. So, yeah, I know it's a big secret. Thanks, Coach. Have fun for us.
Always love it, Rod. Thank you. See you Friday.
Love you, buddy. Yep, Jeff Reinebold joining us from Super Bowl 57 festivities in Arizona. We'll be back. We've got a flood of messages from our audience with all of the topics we've gotten into today. I knew it would be a fantastic Monday, and we will be right back to Ballers Rec Room, where we're broadcasting live today on Game Plus Television, your favorite podcast platform, and on the radio, WQEE, The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
You betcha. It's one of those days where you feel like you just don't have enough time, and we've got some tremendous messages to get to from our audience today, as I said before the break here in Viewer Takeover. But I do want to read a sports update. Another one. The Regina Pats, God's team, had their 2-game win streak snapped Sunday night following a 5-1 loss that Medicine had in Co-op Place. The good news is Connor Bedard scored his league-leading 45th goal of the season. I'm seeing all these people wearing Pats blue today, repping the Pats blue. I'm like, what? Now you're a Pats fan? Oh. Okay. Some of us been there all along. In Langley, BC, the Vancouver Giants defeated the visiting Tri-City Americans 4-1. The Giants wore special Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles jerseys, and I think that's fantastic. A couple weeks after the Pats wore SpongeBob jerseys. We'll get into that next hour with Moose, too. I love it. In Everett, Aiden Sutter and Austin Roost each had a goal and an assist as the Everett Silvertips outlasted the Red Deer Rebels 4-2. In Seattle, Jeremy Hansel, Brad Lambert, and Kyle Krenkovic each scored a goal, and the Seattle Thunderbirds held on for a 3-1 victory over the spirited Spokane Chiefs. Jordan Keller scored twice in the third period as the Saskatoon Blades defeated the visiting Brandon Wheat Kings 4-2. And in Calgary, Atlee Calvert's goal at 16-17 of the third period proved to be the winner as the visiting Moose Jaw Warriors edged the Calgary Hitmen 2-1. To the viewer comments on the text line, and listeners, of course, from Atlanta regarding these All-Star weekends, NHL, NFL, TV ratings being down in the NHL 22%. David in Winnipeg watching on Game Plus TV says, does the NHL Players Association have any input into what events are held at the All-Star weekend? This is a reward to the players as well as fans. Some of it was too corny and carnival-like for my liking. My guess is maybe the NHL would come up with these events and submit it to the Players Association and see if they'd sign off on it. But overall, I don't think they'd have a huge hand in it. Regarding lagging TV ratings in the NHL, Jeff in Redmond, Oregon makes the point, remove the NHL blackouts. That's the one thing I've never really gotten. You guys got to explain this to me because I pay the whole enchilada to get my NHL games. I don't pay for Sunday ticket in the NFL. I don't pay for, what's the baseball one, Moose? We don't even know. MLB TV, Clark says. I don't pay for that. But I'll pay whatever it takes to get my NHL games so I don't have to deal with the blackouts. I don't know. I'm not saying they don't happen. Like I hear these really weird things about when the Penguins are playing at New Jersey against the Devils. They can't watch the game in Pittsburgh. I don't know. That is hurting them. But I do think that goes on in other leagues, too. But here's a guy in Oregon saying he can't get his Seattle Kraken games. He has written this before. He goes, the Kraken don't want me as a fan. That's the one part of this whole thing that I don't really understand. Max in Toronto writes in, he says, a hockey rink. Oh, we were asking, where would you like to be locked in alone? Because we were locked in this bar here alone, and we thought it was pretty fantastic here at Ballers Rec Room today. Max in Toronto says, a hockey rink with my equipment and some pucks, and he'd be happy. He'd like to be locked in a hockey rink. I've had it happen before. It's as good as it sounds. Last minute of play in hour one. Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba writes in, he says, All-Star games are good for the kids. The NHL's better than the NFL. Have the refs in the skills competition, like fastest skater, etc. That'd be fun. How about we have them in eye examination contests? How about that? Joe in Victoria, BC says the NHL doesn't need more games. The players will start being like the wimps in the NBA and take games off. Right? Load management. Yeah, sports has a bit of a problem in that regard. What'd you say, Clark? 10, 15? Stephen in North Dakota says, will there be marriage proposals at Super Bowl again this year? A reporter in a wedding gown? Distractions! Hour two coming up after this brief pause.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Now, here's a little secret with what I do at the Rod Pedersen Show, and I've made a career of it. I don't care whether you like me or you don't like me, but when you watch my show, I just want you to feel something.
How about that?
Whether you're happy or you're sad or you're angry or you're proud, I just want you to feel something. Because a lot of times you'll read a column or watch a show and it's, That's never been the hallmark of what I do. I want to make you think, I want to make you feel something, and it's worked. And if you don't agree with me, I'll be fine.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. It's me, the champ. It's hour 2. We're back at our Regina headquarters, Ballers Rec Room, your entertainment destination. I got the Moose with me here today. We're live on Game Plus TV. We are also on WQEE Radio, The Key. We've got so many great topics. We're going to switch gears a little bit here in hour 2. We talked a lot about NFL, NHL, All-Star Weekend, skills competitions. And actually, I should right out of the gate tell you that is our poll question today. Who did it better? All-Star Weekend, the NHL, the NFL, both or neither? And this is for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. They have dealerships all across the Canadian prairies and the state of California. I voted for the NHL because I was there personally. I didn't even watch the NFL other than a little bit of what I saw on a TV screen when I was in Atlanta on Sunday. But I got to vote for the NHL. You voted one thing. By the way, neither's leading. People really didn't like it at all. 70% or more saying no, neither one won. They were both terrible.
Right.
You voted for one and then you changed your vote.
Yeah, I voted
land?
neither. I landed on NFL.
Yeah?
I like the skills. They try. They really, especially when you get the quarterbacks, trying to hit the little numbered targets moving and stuff. I think that's really cool. I'm a fan of that. And they really try at it. There's two that they try at in the NHL skills comp, and that's the fastest skater and then the accuracy shooting. I really liked when McDavid went bang, 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 4 for 4 in like less than 10 seconds. That was cool. They try, right? Nobody wants to miss in that.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like we've talked about it enough. I'll say this. I think the NHL, when they're meeting this morning, which they probably will, yeah, you kind of wonder, is Gary Bettman going to come in and pound his fist and say, what was that? But based on the reaction from everybody, they was so upset.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't know. The one thing I had a problem with being in the arena Friday night in Sunrise was nobody had anything to cheer for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would have liked the one-by-one introductions of the players. They didn't do that. And the biggest cheers went up for two things. McDavid going 4 for 4 on the targets and Ovi's kid.
Right.
And that was about it. That's not a lot to cheer for.
No, you just have to find a way to make it a little more competitive. You just have to.
But when they're not trying, they're not going to make it more competitive. I don't think when they go to Toronto next year, it's going to look a whole lot different on the ice, but they're not going to have dunk tanks and surfboards and golf courses, clearly. Anyways, Jordan Ewart watching writes in, says, put the All-Star game in Winnipeg. Florida's too much of a vacation for the guys, and it showed. Maybe they will, but I'll say this, strolling that Fort Lauderdale Beach area, squiring Rich Sutter around, you saw fans from all over North America, and guess what jerseys they were wearing? Cold weather teams. They came down for the holiday. Boston jerseys everywhere. Oilers, obviously. Leafs. This was a new one, by the way. Met a girl. I don't want to say who, but she was working there. I want to say for whom. But I said, where are you from? And she goes, Toronto. And I'm like, you don't usually hear that. You know what I mean? But she's like, it's so beautiful here. It's so warm.
Yeah.
It's so cold in Toronto. That's why they had it there. It's a vacation destination. I'd say it worked. They sold it out. Anyways, I do want to talk some Canadian Football League here in hour 2. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I heard that Nick Dembski signed a new 3-year extension in Winnipeg with the Blue Bombers. He has. Shout out Winnipeg. We're huge there on Bell MTS Cable. Not only did Nick Dembski sign a new deal, but I see some talk of, is he Ring of Honor worthy in Winnipeg? Well, yeah. Yes, he's a hometown boy, won back-to-back Grey Cups, and been an all-star. That's just me talking. I can't speak for the Bombers, but I think Nick Dembski would be worthy of one of the all-time greats.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of guys up there that didn't win jack squat.
I know. I would consider it. He's right there. Maybe longevity's just got to continue to come, like play a few more years. When you think about it, he's been in the league now for a little while. You know, what is he, 6 seasons?
No, way more than
that.
Oh, yeah. I think.
You know?
I'd have to look at it. Time flies.
It does fly, for sure. And to win and be not just on those teams, but he's been a key contributor on those teams, which I think is so. So, yeah, hometown kid, I would put him there for sure.
Swerve in Calgary's watching and says, imagine going to hockey games in shorts. Florida, Nashville, Arizona, San Jose, L.A., Vegas. It's amazing. It's amazing. Quite often I'll call you while driving to the rink in Sunrise, and I can just hear the emotion in your voice. You're like, it must be so great. I'm like, it is. I don't take any of it for granted. I don't. Jeff Gordon, that's his name. Jeff Gordon in the audience writes in. He says, looks like Rod brought some of the Florida weather to the rectangle. Thanks for bringing the heat, Rod. Well, I do like to spread sunshine. I do like to spread sunshine wherever I go, and it's nice that it's not so cold here that you could die. Before I jump into this Canadian Football League stuff, by tonight, the Florida Panthers are home to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and all my friends that I've made over the last year have said, Rod, on the weekend, they were like, well, see you Monday night, Lightning Panthers. I'm like, no, you won't. I'm going back to Canada for a few weeks, and they're like, because they're all geeked up about this, man. They hate the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I love it. I'm here for that kind of rivalry, man. As are you. It's the way it should be.
You need it. You need to have that. Teams that you hate and games you circle on the calendar. And it's Edmonton, Calgary. It's what Toronto, Montreal used to be. It's, you know what I mean? You need to have those rivalries. I think that's really good in sports. It used to be Detroit, Colorado. You know, you'd circle those games on the calendar. You need to find a little bit of that. I think that's great.
Okay. Report coming down from 3downnation.com today, Canada's #1 source for CFL news, that now they're in this exclusive negotiating window. It opened on Sunday. Teams in the CFL have a week to speak with potential pending free agents before their contracts expire next weekend. And supposedly, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, not supposedly, I'm sure they have made a multi-year lucrative offer to Trevor Harris, our good friend who was just on the show, was it last week, 2 weeks ago, out of Ohio, and he is under contract with the Montreal Alouettes for another week. I'll get to that in a second. Barflies, that's from the audience. Barflies says, Trevor Harris is not going to win anything for the Riders. He doesn't like getting hit. So why would he sign in Saskatchewan? they're better off sticking with Cody Fajardo. Now, I'll get to that in a second. The big story that moved across the news wire today in Canada is this. Anthony Lanier II is staying with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Riders announced Monday the defensive lineman had signed a one-year contract. Financial details weren't divulged, but a CFL source said the deal was worth a guaranteed $250,000 and included a $100,000 signing bonus and a $10,000 bonus for reporting to training camp. Wouldn't that be nice? Just show up. We'll give you $10,000.
That would be nice.
Squirrel moment. I was reading Matthew Barnaby's book on the airplane yesterday, and I did not tell you this. He got a $50,000 bonus from the Buffalo Sabres from general manager Darcy Regier if he didn't run Dominic Hasek in training camp like he said he was going to. He said he was going to run him in camp. So Darcy Regier, the general manager, called him in at the Sabres at the time. He goes, Barney, I know you said to the media that you're going to run Dom Hasek in camp. If you don't, I'll give you $50,000 right now.
That's unbelievable.
Can you imagine? The book is unbelievable. Back on point. The 6'6", 285-pound Lanier has played in 21 CFL games with Saskatchewan. He's got 9 sacks. Before joining the Riders, he spent 5 seasons in the National Football League with Washington, the LA Chargers, Kansas City, and New Orleans. Now, there's that. And also, another league source said Monday, veteran quarterback Matthew Schultz Creek, has agreed to remain. You like that, eh?
That's good.
To remain with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He DM'd me this winter. Seems like a really nice guy.
How about
Matthew
that?
Schultz. The 6'2", 205-pound Schultz is entering his 6th CFL season and will provide a veteran presence behind veteran Bo Levi Mitchell, who signed a 3-year deal with the club last month. So people were writing in here earlier about this huge amount of money given to Anthony Lanier. I'm saying this completely non-biased as an observer. Couple things. Great player. We all watch the games. But when the Riders cut Garrett Marino, the bad boy Garrett Marino, everybody went, they never won another game. Lanier was a lot better when he had Marino on that D-line.
Right.
That's one. 2, just because they gave him a ton of money doesn't mean he's great. They were in a big scramble to give Cody Fajardo $480,000 a season to make him the highest paid Rough Rider of all time, which they did. And then they lit him on fire and kicked him out the door. See what I'm saying? Just because you're handing out tons of money doesn't make them great players or make it a great decision, by the way. Duke Williams got $250,000 last year, and that was a major flub. So all I'm saying, I get everybody's going, ooh, Lanier, $250,000, but I'm not sure he's worth it. I think we were all surprised when Fajardo got that much money, and I love him.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, a lot of times it's the market that dictates, and the market value isn't necessarily what a player's worth in terms of production. The market is what somebody's willing to pay. So if you're looking at Lanier and you're thinking, okay, we need to figure out our defensive line here, and here's a guy who's maybe coming into his own, played a little over 20 games, 9 sacks. Okay, he's on the up. He's got the NFL experience. That can translate into continuous, maybe 10 sacks next season, 15, very consistent force. But it's also, if we don't, somebody else is willing to pay the money. And you overpay for guys that you want to get and keep. And so the decision was let them walk or overpay for them. And they decided to overpay. I think a little bit of an overpay.
In the case of Cody Fajardo, though, he wasn't going anywhere. I get you're saying this about Lanier.
Yeah.
Right? But with Fajardo, he didn't need to give him that much money.
No, he didn't.
You know what I mean?
I know.
So what I'm saying is this regime historically has a decision of a history of misspending. It's on record. So when I saw this, I'm like, I've watched a lot of football in my day. You football people, you tell me, is Lanier worth the money? Because I don't think he is. It's very similar to the housing market, is it not? People will overpay for the house just to get the house.
Yeah. You let AC Leonard walk, right? Because you didn't want to pay him the $40,000 of a bonus. And he's a great player. And instantly within, I don't know, The paperwork the ink hadn't even dried, and he was signed in Edmonton. And so now you think, okay, we lost him. Who do we have? We better lock up the guy we have and pay whatever it's going to cost. And Lanier had the benefit there. But everybody's talking about where's the money for the offensive line now that needs to be fixed.
Funny you say that. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says exactly that. He writes in and says, Riders need to address the O-line. Nothing else matters. I say this tongue-in-cheek, Jeff, because you're a great guy and a fan of ours, and we're a fan of yours. But they fired the O-line coach.
Problem solved.
Ta-da! Which, incidentally, that O-line coach they fired was standing leaning on that bar at our Grey Cup party. We're at the Ballers Rec Room right now, by the way. This was the home of the greatest Grey Cup party there was, presented by Twisted Tea. That coach came in here. You think I didn't have a long talk with him that night? What do you mean we need to address it? We fired the position coach. And by the way, it's not just a Sask thing. We saw it all over the NFL. Kellen Moore,
yeah,
don't get me going. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, writes in, he said, is recycling quarterbacks the way to go? The Riders have never really seemed to be able to groom a quarterback. You look at a team like Calgary, they have always had the next one on their roster. Who's running the show? John Huffnagel, quarterback. Dave Dickinson, quarterback. Mark Mueller, quarterback. Ryan Dinwiddie, when he was there, quarterback. You think they might know quarterbacks? Why do you think they're a quarterback factory? Not to mention the ones, even before these guys that went to the NFL. Jeff Garcia, Doug Flutie. Some teams know how to do it. Which, by the way, watching ESPN this morning, and they're talking about, what's with Aaron Rodgers? Is he buying time to be talked about so much on ESPN? It's Super Bowl week, and all they're talking about is Aaron Rodgers.
Playing golf.
Doing whatever. And they interviewed Davante Adams yesterday in Las Vegas at this Pro Bowl Skills, and did you see that clip where they go, Davante, why would you tell Aaron Rodgers to sign with the Las Vegas Raiders? What's the best part of Las Vegas? He goes, me.
He did. It's awesome.
Is that not tampering? Is he still? He is under contract to Green Bay.
Yeah,
that's tampering.
They have to make a trade, and it is. But it's so publicly out there that they're looking for it that it's not tampering. Everybody knows now, so they're starting the sell job, and Vegas seems to be the spot. And I say golf because he won the Pro-Am at Pebble Beach with whoever he was playing with, and that's what they were asking him in the post-game, right, about where he's going. And he said, well, a lot of people are saying I'm probably going to end up in Vegas, play with Davante again. And everywhere he goes.
Oh, the fake news is wild, but I'll tell you what, that's what people love.
Mm-hmm.
They love dirty laundry. Don Henley sang about it. We'll be back with whatever you'd like to talk about. I told you we would get to it. The poll will update. Who did you like better? All-Star Weekend, NFL, NHL, both or neither. We'll update those results. We'll look at tonight in the National Hockey League, probably a little bit of NBA talk, more on the CFL if you're down with it. And Zig Fracassi will be joining us later on from SiriusXM NFL Radio. It is your favorite sports talk show. We're live on Game Plus Television, your favorite podcast platform, of course, and WQEE Radio, the key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
The studio is Ballers Rec Room, your entertainment destination. So glad that they are hosting us here in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. And before we bring the Moose back in and Zig Fracassi on a little later from SiriusXM NFL Radio, this is my favorite music, by the way, that we play. Thank you, guys. Bump, bump. All-star point guard Kyrie Irving being traded by the Brooklyn Nets. The team has struck a deal with the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavs trading Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and a package of draft picks to the Nets. Dallas also gets Markieff Morris in the deal. The thing I'm watching this week is that LeBron James, 37 points away from being the NBA's all-time leading scorer. We're not the NBA show, but you got to be interested in that. We can bring the Moose in for that. The one thing that's interesting is they got 2 games this week, Tuesday, Thursday in LA, home games. They got Thunder there, Bucks there. I've seen more hype for the Ovechkin chasing Gordie Howe for 801 than I have for LeBron.
I know.
Or I missed something.
No, I think, well, part of it is I think you're more in the NHL circle.
Yeah, I've been in
the basketball circle.
Yeah, has to be.
They're getting on it a little bit. I also think that goal scoring in hockey is a little bit more special than scoring points in basketball.
Must be.
Because you go to the games, and if LeBron's your favorite player, no matter what, you're going to see him do something. He's going to score 10 points or 15 points on a really, really, really bad day, right? He's still going to score some baskets so you can still celebrate. In hockey, there's no guarantee that your favorite player is going to score a goal when you pay money to go watch him.
Yeah.
So it's less ordinary. I think it's a little more special.
A pair of Canadian teams are in action tonight as the NHL resumes its regular season following the All-Star break. The Calgary Flames visit the New York Rangers, and the Vancouver Canucks visit New Jersey as part of a 6-game slate. More on that in a moment. Jaromir Jagr celebrated his 51st birthday about a week early. by scoring his 1,099th goal to overtake Wayne Gretzky at the top of the chart. According to this, Jagr scored for the Kladno Knights Sunday in a 5-4 loss in the Czech League. He'll turn 51 on February 15th. Jagr was the NHL's second highest point scorer in 2018 when he was released by the Flames. He scored his 1,099 goals in pro games and at international tournaments. That might make a great poll question. Do you recognize this? Because I do not. Who does recognize this? Do you?
To an extent. I do, to an extent, because it's there to celebrate Jagr's greatness. I mean,
we all know he's great.
Yeah, but I think, the next generation might not realize how good he was. And you look at the all-time leading scores, like, oh, Jagr's third or fourth or whatever he is in the NHL. It's great. You don't realize he played so many years back home in the Czech League or in the KHL or in this league. And, it's pretty special, but it's not the NHL. So to an extent.
I don't know. Did you ever really see, you saw a little talk of Ichiro, his Seattle Mariners home runs and hits versus his Japanese league, but not to this extent.
Because I don't really know the WHA era, right? But to all extent, it was a big deal. And the Gretzky went and played in the WHA. Those goals matter because those are time he should have been playing in the NHL, racking up more goals. So, when you think about that, and Ovechkin chasing Gretzky, it's should we count the WHA? Because that was pretty much the NHL.
Some do.
Yeah.
I don't. This sports update for Landmark Cinemas. In theaters now, Avatar, The Way of Water.
We got to go see that this week.
Set more than a decade after the events of the first film, Avatar, The Way of Water begins to tell the story of the Sully family, the trouble that follows them, the lengths they go to keep each other safe, the battles they fight to stay alive, and the tragedies they endure. You went to A Man Called Otto last week. Give us the review, Moose, for Landmark Cinemas.
We went to it 2 nights ago. It was good. We went because 80 for Brady was sold out. So went into A Man Called Otto. Tom Hanks, feel-good story. Wasn't really jacked up going into it. Not my kind of movie, but it was good. It was emotional. I was had a little tear in my eye by the end of it.
Wow,
it was good.
Well,
how about that?
I want to go to some movies, Landmark Cinemas. I'll say this simply about Florida. We go to a lot of movies in Calgary, but just that specific place, 10.5 million people, a sports mecca. There's always something to do and something going on. That's not necessarily the case in Canada, period. Weather-wise and so forth.
Yeah.
So I intend to get a lot more movies in this stint. By the way, thank you, Jennifer from the Four Seasons, who chimes in and she says, lifetime goals, so I guess you might as well count AAA Bantam goals too? I'm with her. Where do you draw the line? By the way, join us for our Super Bowl watch party this Sunday. Eagles and Chiefs at the Four Seasons Sports Palace. First come, first serve. People are asking if we're going to have John Frenzy on the air this week. Very likely not, the Don Cherry of football. But I probably get him out to our Super Bowl watch party. And by the way, happy 89th birthday to Grapes yesterday. Don Cherry turning 89 on Sunday. John Ohm in Winnipeg says they don't combine CFL and NFL numbers and records, nor should hockey. Here's the thing. They just don't. Why are we doing it in hockey? I don't get it.
Well, we do it a little bit with Warren Moon to really...
Canadians do.
No, but to really show the greatness of somebody, Doug Flutie, to really show off the greatness, we say he did this, Boston College, he did this in the NFL. But he also did this in Canada, and we talk about the career as a whole to really signify the greatness. And I think it works in some cases. It doesn't work in all, because there's a lot of guys who didn't really have a sniff of any success in the NHL that did really well overseas, and we don't consider them to be all-time greats in the game of hockey. So you really have to think about this and approach it with the right lens.
Because it is day 2 of the official negotiating window being open in the Canadian Football League. The fans of the CFL want to talk about it. We are a Canadian-based show, and therefore I appreciate talking about it. from the Barflies. He says, did Kenny Lawler re-sign with Edmonton, or is he a free agent? If he'd re-signed Kenny the King Lawler, we'd know about it. He has not re-signed. From Jeff Gordon, he says, they sort of do combine the stats. Anthony Calvillo was listed as most yards, wasn't he? Yes, in Canada. And you have to understand, what I've learned over the last year is the 49th parallel is not just an imaginary line on the globe. There might as well be a 10-foot high wall there, especially when it comes to sports. The people that are interested in Canadian sports down there are just type of people that are interested in stuff. Do you know what I mean? But it's a smaller.
Right.
Most sports fans don't give a rat's butt. Don't really give a rat's butt about the NHL in America, let alone the CFL. The poll question, updating it here for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. And yeah, Capital has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies and the state of California. Which All-Star weekend was better? NHL, NFL, both or neither? I got to read you the percentages. 76% voting neither. They were both B-A-D. 12% voting for the NHL, and that includes me. I said the NHL did it better. 11% for the NFL, and just 1% voting for both. So nobody really came away happy from this All-Star weekend. And I will spend a minute on that. When the All-Star game comes back next year in Toronto for the NHL, do we expect much will change? Because I do not. They still don't want the players getting hurt. And I do want to look ahead to tonight's games in the second half. But I just feel this is where we are. And you can, if it was just an NHL thing, I could sit there and say, yeah, they really screwed up. When you look over at the NFL playing dodgeball and flag football, this is telling me that this is a sports thing. And I guess we have the choice to watch or not. Fair?
Yeah, we have the choice to watch or not. And those guys are playing dodgeball. Like, they're really trying. It's fun. Like,
but it's not football.
They get to be kids, but it's not football. Because they know that they're not going to go out there and play hard for a game of football that doesn't matter when we can really get hurt. I mean, you can get hurt technically, I guess, in dodgeball, but it's rare. I mean, even if you take one really hard to the face, they're soft enough that for the most part, it's not going to set you back. But, yeah, it's not the same, and I don't know how they're going to really get it back just to get some competitiveness in it. It's just, I don't know if it's going to happen.
You tell me that I need to move on and stop banging my head against the wall, but I say this about hockey. I love it so much that I'll watch whatever they put out there, and I'll be happy. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'll watch the Raccoons cartoon hockey and be happy. So that's just me. Not everybody's like me, and that we can thank the world for that. We can thank the universe that there's only one me. But it's so what is it going to take to draw in the new viewers? I don't really know. Why do I not watch the NBA? I'm not really into it. You know?
Yeah.
I watch for the panelists, Shaquille and Chuck and Shaq. John, this is a side note. These one-year contracts in the Canadian Football League drive me bonkers. We kind of got to stop on that because they're in every league. They're in every league, right? It's just, that's another thing. John is such a great guy. He's a very positive guy, but we got to realize this is where we are, man.
Sometimes you just have to accept that this is the situation. And, I mean, in the National Football League, there's less of those one-year deals. You look at Aaron Rodgers, he now needs to be traded because he still has a year left on his deal, and it's not just getting out of it. We don't have that in Canada, but you have to understand it is what it is. This isn't the NFL. This is the CFL, and this is the way that they do business. And we could sit here and complain about it, but it would do us no good.
It's not just that. Carson Wentz quarterbacked the Washington Commanders this year. Deshaun Watson quarterbacked the Cleveland Browns this year. Look at all the just the quarterbacks alone, which is what everybody's entranced with, that moved. Josh Donaldson, we thought he would be a Toronto Blue Jay forever. Then he's gone to the Twins. Now he's with the Yankees. It's not just a CFL thing. And who was the James Neal, great right winger in the National Hockey League, played for 4 teams in 4 years. Vegas, Calgary, Edmonton, and I can't remember the fourth. The Blues, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's more movement now than ever, player movement. Look at the NBA and Kyrie getting traded. You know, now the players have that more power, and it's just like, I want to move. Trade me. Or your contract's up, and you end up moving around a lot more than you used to.
Try to sit back and enjoy. It's kind of what we're getting at. NHL tonight, 6 games. And by the way, what did we read earlier in the sports update? We got people chiming in here with comments on things we talked about over an hour ago. If there's 10 teams in contention in the NHL East, I got to go back and read it. 10 in the East and 11 in the West for 8 spots. Or the other way around, but you know what I'm saying. So I would say the stretch drive starts tonight. Don't say the second half, the post-All-Star break, even though that's kind of what it is. It's you got to put the hammer down the rest of the way.
It's 30 games. It's going to go by in the blink of an eye.
Islanders at Flyers, Lightning at Panthers. That's my game of the night. Calgary Flames at the Rangers, Vancouver at New Jersey, Anaheim at Dallas, Minnesota at Arizona. We'll talk later on when Moose rejoins for overtime about what is the game of the night in the National Hockey League. But we're talking Super Bowl 57 when we come back with our good friend Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL Radio. We're live on the Game Plus television network across all 10 Canadian provinces and 31 U.S. states. We're also on your favorite podcast platform and on the radio, WQEE The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is. Welcome back. Happy Monday. The 902 text line has exploded with our topics of the day today. NHL ratings being down. Which All-Star weekend was better, NHL or NFL? CFL negotiating window. Austin and Glen Ewan. Rose and Edmonton. We'll get to your comments. But it is Monday of Super Bowl week. The teams have arrived in Arizona, the Chiefs and the Eagles. Zig Fracassi joins us from SiriusXM NFL Radio to discuss it from New York. Ziggy, good to see you, brother. Happy Monday. How are you, pal? Nice.
Doing great,
That's
my
old
friend.
School.
It's the
You're
precursor
fired
to
up.
the Kansas City Chiefs.
I was wondering, what's the story? Tell me the story behind that.
Well, Rod, way back when, no, I'm serious. Lamar Hunt, of course, was the one who started the American Football League, and the team was born in Dallas as the Texans. And believe it or not, they were actually better than the Cowboys early in their, tenure. They won an AFL championship, but Lamar had the vision for the league that we were going to compete with Dallas, hence moved to Kansas City, 1963. They've been there ever since.
Wow. How about that?
You never knew this?
How about that?
No. Listen, I got my hands full with NHL and CFL history. I didn't know NFL, AFL history. So what's Super Bowl week like for you, Zig? You've covered many of them. You seem to have a spring in your step. Is that because it's championship week or what?
It is, and I'm not there that I'm very happy about. There's, of course, SiriusXM NFL Radio and a wall of media. They are out there in Glendale, Arizona, covering the event, and quite frankly, I've done a few of them, and let's just say I'm glad I'm at home. So I'll be preparing for the game. Of course, I got the Saturday show with Todd Haley, 5 to 8 Eastern, and then I'll be part of the post-game coverage of Super Bowl 57. So watching, the game intently, making my notes, and then teeing it up for these guys to comment since they were actually at the venue.
It's interesting. We're going to be inundated with coverage, analysis, predictions all week long. We won't remember who said what, I guess. But how do you approach Super Bowl week in terms of your coverage on SiriusXM NFL Radio? Which, incidentally, I'm back in Canada. I brought my radio with me from Florida because I don't want to miss what you guys are saying. How are you approaching the week, Zig, in terms of what you do?
Well, with me, again, I'll be looking at it just in terms of, what's going to be the storyline. Like today, before I just came on, saw the news that the Chiefs had put the McCole Hardman, the wide receiver who had come back for the AFC Championship game, but unfortunately re-aggravated his, I think it was pelvis injury. So now he goes on IR, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's been out for weeks now with an injury, he was activated today. So there's going to be some roster transition you'll look for, maybe some late adds to the practice squad or late active or additions to the active roster. So I'm looking at that. And then you just look for little things throughout the week that maybe the coaches might drop in terms of strategies or things like that. So it was intense. Like, for example, last night, I did a show with Robert Turbin, the Super Bowl winning back with the Seattle Seahawks a few years ago. And he also had KJ Wright on. And it was their thought that if, for example, Isaiah Pacheco, the Chiefs' back, runs the ball a lot, Kansas City should win this game going away, which immediately got my attention. But then, they qualified it by saying, but Andy, of course, loves to throw the ball because you got Patrick Mahomes. But that was just a little interesting tidbit. So maybe the Chiefs do run the ball a little bit more, for example, this Sunday.
It's the biggest sports betting week of the year. obviously.
Yes.
So all those betting companies are excited, including ours, Bet Regal, our exclusive betting partner in Sportsbook. We had Jeff Reinebold on with us last hour from Sky Sports NFL Coverage Europe, and he's not making his pick till Friday once these roster and injury situations have been sorted out. So it's like, if you're going to bet, try to make an informed bet, because a lot's going to change this week. But here's the thing, Zig. You talk football year-round. It's not just another game, though. I've covered now Super Bowls, Grey Cups. It's not just another game, right? When you're coaching it and for the players, and that's exciting.
Well, it's because you've worked this hard to get to this point. I mean, the target goal, Rod, for any team to start the season is, at the end of the year, you want to be Super Bowl champions. Now, I wouldn't go to the Lombardi extreme where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. But obviously, other than the money and maybe the prestige and the glory, that's why you play the game, is to win. And Kansas City now, it was amazing. They had gone 50 years without winning championships. Now they're in their third Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Philadelphia has a chance to win their second in 5 years. They hadn't won a championship prior in 57 seasons. So you talk about teams with long droughts. Now that they're there, there's definitely that extra motivation for them to want to win.
I got to ask you this. I just returned from NHL All-Star Weekend festivities in Florida. Big topic was the TV ratings being down 22%. I'm sure they're not in Boston, where your Bruins were on the verge of their greatest regular season in franchise history. But what did you think? I'm sure you saw the report that these ratings are down considerably.
Yeah, and then, of course, Bill Daly spun it like ratings are up everywhere. So, the old adage is somebody's lying. Yeah, I could see why the ratings would be down. The games, for example, Rod, in the States, games being on that ESPN Plus app, there's people your age, my age, that maybe don't want to go. They want to flip on the TV. They still have their cable box. They just want to watch the games where they are. They don't want to be searching for them. So I think that's one aspect. I think there's this push now to maybe change the playoffs, maybe create more divisional games. So I think those are probably the reasons why the numbers are down. And to be perfectly frank with you, I didn't watch any of the All-Star Weekend. Again, being old man syndrome here, you and I remember the game used to be on Tuesday night, and it used to mean something. It doesn't anymore. And I know we're trying to reach new audiences, younger audiences. I get all that, but it's just not for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing, Zig. You're a longtime Bruins fan, and all year I've been watching this NHL live in Sunrise and in Calgary, going comebacks, lots of goals, unpredictability. It's been an unreal season of hockey, and then ratings are.
Oh, the games have been great, I think.
Right. So what are you going to do?
I know. Well, they don't market their own stars enough.
Yeah, I hear that a lot in America. That's the one thing the NFL sure does, though, right? I'm not sure it's even fair to compare the NFL to the NHL in America, but that's one thing. They're in all the TV ads, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you see, Tom Brady in different things, Patrick Mahomes in those State Farm commercials. I mean, you just see guys everywhere. It's really cool to see the NFL knows how to market their product and their stars. The NHL, I still think, a little bit stuck in the sand in that regard.
Yeah, interesting. Well, you and I will always be watching the games and then convening to talk about them. And that part I appreciate the most. Thanks for lining up that Ryan Leaf interview, by the way, Zig. As expected, he was fantastic. Had a lot of great reaction out of that. And Bud will be listening this week. Keep rocking it. Keep being you.
Wasn't Ryan the real deal?
Absolutely.
He's the authentic goods, man.
Was. It's important. He needs to get that out there.
Absolutely.
And that certainly helped. Okay, Ziggy. Thanks. Have a great week, bud.
All right, Rod. Thanks as always, brother.
The great Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL Radio. We'll be right back with Overtime after this. Turning it over to you, the audience. It is the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, And on the radio, WQEE, the key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad. Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show. Official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models, GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Yeah, and the Moose is here too for overtime, everybody's favorite segment, or at least a lot of folks. Brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, where we'll be hosting our Super Bowl watch party this Sunday, Eagles and Chiefs. Space limited, first come, first serve. We are broadcasting live, though, from Ballers Rec Room. Hey, Moose, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump in with some comments here. WQEE Rock writes in and says, another great show. RP crew, well, another great show on another great radio station. WQEE. Sounds great. I love being back on the radio. I don't think it's too much topics. I don't. So where do I start? On the CFL stuff.
Free agency begins now in less than a week. Teams are allowed to talk to potential free agents and give them offers. I'm just going to read the comments, not necessarily debate them. Rose in Edmonton says, I love Trevor Harris, but why would anyone offer him a multi-year deal? He will be 37 when they start the season. That reminds me that Tom Brady has some news this morning that I'll get to in a second that I don't know if you heard about his future.
Okay.
And you're looking, it's not a joke. You're looking at me like I...
No.
It's not
Did he unretire?
No,
Okay.
no. Austin in Glen Ewan writes in, he says, I remember when Anthony Calvillo became the all-time leader for passing yards in pro football history. I thought that was super impressive and counted for something. But I'm a big CFL lover. It does, for sure, in Canada and amongst certain pro football people. What I'm saying is, in America, home of the NFL, they don't recognize it, and he's American. So it's a matter of perspective. Recognize what you would like to recognize. Similar to Gary Bettman having to explain the pride jersey thing again. Support what you want to support, and don't support what you don't want to support. It's a free country. Fair?
That's the idea.
Yeah. David in Winnipeg watching on Game Plus TV. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers doesn't end up in San Francisco. Don't like the cut of his jib. Lamar Jackson would be a hallelujah moment. This is a show that will not be talking about Aaron Rodgers' future. Gosh knows there's enough of those shows. I'm sick of it. He is such a drama queen. I feel like he loves it.
I think so, too.
Yeah, you get the sense that he does. Speaking of that, Tom Brady, and our guy Jug sent me the clip this morning. Tom Brady was on Colin Cowherd this morning saying his next venture will be color commentary, NFL on Fox, fall of 2024.
Okay.
So he's taking a full year and a half off. And he kind of explained why. He goes, I'm basically saying I'm fried. I need a break from life.
And I like that. That's respectful to Greg Olsen, who's done a good job in that role. Greg Olsen's going to be on the Super Bowl call. And you don't want to go from being in the Super Bowl to being out of a job. It's another year to audition for him, to either go into a secondary role on Fox or to audition for a new network altogether. I think it's a good thing, and I like that from Tom Brady, not just dropping and saying, Greg, thanks for holding my chair. You're out of here. Right? Respect. I like it.
We're just being the conduit to the comments here, okay? I had two old school football guys come after me a couple weeks ago with my comments on NIL, name, image, likeness. Their names were Phil and Ash, and they're probably watching right now. And they're like, no, the name, image, likeness deals are not supposed to be used for recruiting. Sure. You think I didn't spend the fall in high school football locker rooms? You saw it on my social media. Plantation, Florida, Cardinal Gibbons, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. What do you think the players were telling me? Yeah, it's not supposed to, doesn't mean it's not going to. And the reason I'm saying that, Dan in Saskatoon, whom you know, writes in, he says, morning, guys, enjoy the week. Details just came out from the college recruiting site On3 of quarterback Jaden Rashada's deal with Florida. Had he gone to the University of Florida, this is what he would have got coming out of high school to the Florida Gators. $500,000 up front. Here you go. Check. First year, $250,000 a month.
What?
In the second year, $292,000 a month.
Hot damn.
Third year, $375,000 per year. No, sorry, per month. So doing the math, it works out to $14 million the Florida Gators were willing to hand him for his entire tenure at the college to quarterback the Gators, where Tim Tebow played. He said in order to collect, he had to live in Gainesville, Florida, one branded post to his Twitter and Instagram per month, 8 fan engagement events per year, autograph at least 15 items per year. Name, image, likeness. And Dan says, and yet major junior hockey players cannot get scholarships at NCAA schools. So my point was, I don't want to fight anymore, but I also stand up for myself too. So for those, Phil and Ash are old football guys. They would agree. They're like, no, Rod, it's not supposed to be used for recruiting. Well, so they sniffed this out and they stopped it.
but it was being used for recruiting. That's my point, because the kids were telling me what their friends were getting offered. What, you know what I'm saying?
It's supposed to come after you've committed to the schools, but it's not. And now that fell through, he's not going to Florida. So, well, if you're not going to get me the deal, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, so where it goes from here, I don't know. And one thing that I won't, I love Joe Rose. You've heard me talk about him a lot on Miami radio. But he just could not get it through his head. And I love him. He's an old football guy, late 60s. He's like, at that time, it was rumored 13 million. He's like, 13 million? He just couldn't, for a kid coming out of high school? Yes, Joe. Because you knew the coaches and the schools would find a way to work this around to get that money up front and give it to players and try and get them to commit to their school. It's common sense, right?
Common sense. You want a player in your school and you want to win, and the school's not paying for it. It's the car dealership that's paying for it. You know, it's the other, businesses in town that are going to pay for it. So away you go.
This is cool. Jeff, the Stamps fan, I didn't know this. He said February 14th, 10 a.m. Mountain, Canadian Football League free agency starts, just as the RP show's coming on the air. That would be perfect. Last minute of play in today's RP show. Maybe we could call it CFL Free Agent Frenzy. Hopefully everybody's down for it. Jeff in the zone says, great show, Rod and Darren. Jeff says, will the Raptors trade OG at the deadline? That part I don't know, but I was thinking last night, I'm like, I can't name you one Miami Heat player. And then I thought, wait a minute, Kyle Lowry's there, right? And Bam Adebayo. I do know a few. John Ohm says you need to go to a live NBA game, Rod, and you'll be a fan. I've been going to live NBA games since 1993. I love the NBA live, but nowadays there's so many options on television. I'm not going to sit down and watch the Mavericks and the Clippers. I'm just not.
No.
Right?
No.
But I'll watch the Stars and the Kings.
Canada,
but that's just, exactly. All right, thank you, Ballers. Thanks, Moose.
Thank you.
Thanks, crew. And most of all, thank you, audience. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Eastern, right here.
Who has more fun than us?
Bob's your uncle. I like it. Hot damn. LFG. Right on.